Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday Night Live. My name is Betty Sakosha. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Massachusetts in the United States and the team leader for the Power of Positive Inking. It is Tuesday night, March the 28th, and I'm live. So hence Tuesday Night Live. Let me see. Oh, Barbara, nice to see you. Sort of see you. See your name. Anyway, so what I've got to share with you tonight is that Stampin' Up! Well, it's many things, but tomorrow, if you're a demonstrator, you get to see the brand new catalog, which actually launches at the beginning of May. But as demonstrators, we get a little preview, and so we get to find out what's in the new catalog, and hence, we get to find out what is not in the new catalog, or what is going to be considered on our last chance list. So a little heads up that this coming week we're going to, the last chance list will come out tomorrow, so we'll know what items are going away, what items you only have a very short amount of time to buy. And eventually, some of those items, by eventually I mean next week, some of those items may be on sale. However, if you wait for that sale, you may miss out on the opportunity to get the whatever it is that you need. You may miss out on that chance altogether. So you have to weigh how important it is to you and when you would want to place that order, be it right away or waiting until you can get a discount. I will also give you a big heads up. You've probably heard by now, but Stampin' Up! Is having a big color refresh, which means we get a bunch of new colors. Some of those colors may be returning in colors. So in colors were kind of hot colors for that period of time. Stampin' Up! Keeps them for 2 years, so during that time they were colors that were kind of trendy. They may have become permanent colors, currently permanent colors, and there may be some new ones. We don't know, and we will find out tomorrow. So here's hoping Fresh Freesia makes the cut. It is current in color, and I'm really hoping it becomes a big kid color. I said all of my my wishes, sent them out to the universe for pool party, and that became a real color. So here's hoping Fresh Freesia does the same. But what that means is that some colors are going away, and if you like those colors and you own ink pads and have paper in those colors, you probably make sure that you have what you need. So be it paper, ink refills, whatever you need, I would not wait until April 4th to get those because they usually sell out. Not promising, but they usually sell out. So here's your big warning. If you have something that is in a color that is going away, and there are many of them this year, which means many new ones are coming, so that's great news. But if you have a favorite old one, you don't want to miss out on that. Make sure that you get that ink refill for sure. Okay, that said, I have a project to share with you tonight. Oops, I forgot something I needed. It's across the room. Luckily, it's a little room. But I have a project I want to share with you tonight that uses a couple of stamp sets that I don't know if they will make the cut. So I don't know if this is your last chance to get them. So I'm going to flip you down. And I'm also going to... Whoops, that's not down. That's down. Okay. So that is my info. While I scoot across the room to get the thing I forgot. Chat amongst yourselves. While I grab what I'm looking for. Okay, got it. Told you, it's a small room. Okay, so Stampin' Up! Well, let me start back with this. Okay, I am doing a class tomorrow, the next couple days, with the Playing in the Rain suite. Actually, I think it's called Rainy Day Collection, is what it's called. But this is one of the starring items in it. So it's a stamp set called Playing in the Rain. And it has a coordinating set of dies, also called Playing in the Rain. And this is what they look like. I don't have a really pretty setup of them, but it cuts out a bunch of the critters in there. Clouds, some butterflies, umbrellas, a bridge, bow ties, a stump, a puddle, a kite. It's got a lot of good stuff in here that coordinates quite nicely with this little stamp set. So they are available. I just checked minutes before I went on live. This is available. You can get the bundle where you save 10%, or you can get the whole collection where you save 10% on this part of it, but you also get the coordinating paper. There are some really cute little flowers that come with it, and something else. I'm blanking on what that is right now, but it's something good. So if this appeals to you, it is still available. You can still get it. Right now, we don't know if it will make the new catalog, so if it appeals to you, go for it now. So this is This is one of the stamp sets that I'm going to use. And the other stamp set I'm going to use, I'm a little fearful might not make the cut. And the reason is it's been around for a few years. So this is called Biggest Wish. And if you have followed any of my videos, you know that I really do not like writing in cards, which is amusing because I like to make cards and I like to talk a lot. But I don't like to write a lot in cards. So the more space that a greeting takes up in a card, the happier I am about it. So this set called Biggest Wish meets that need for me. So I'm going to combine these two tonight and make a slimline card using one of our tools, one of our current tools from Stampin' Up, called a Stamparatus. And I have used this in the past. So what I'm going to show you tonight will also be, you can find on an old video of mine. I will try and link that so that you know what it is if you want to check out that video as well. But I'm going to show you how to use it tonight. So let me show you. Let me show you the finished card. No, let me not show you. Yeah, let me show you the finished card. So this is where we're going with this card. So cute. Slimline card. And let me tell you how I got my color combination. Stampin' Up! Offered a challenge to demonstrators to use one of two different color combinations. So I chose this one here, which is Old Olive, Balmy Blue, Calypso Coral, and Petal Pink. Another option, if I was good, I probably would have made a card out of both, but I did not. The other option is Crumb Cake, Crushed Curry, Coastal Cabana, and Starry Sky. Pretty sure it's Starry Sky. So these were the two options that we were given, both kind of cool color combinations, but this is the one that I chose. And let me get this out of the way. I don't even need my paper cutter tonight. Oh, maybe I do. Maybe I do. Okay, let me grab my supplies. Now I'm going to make a slimline card, and a slimline card is it's kind of fancy name for a card that is a business envelope size. Okay, so Stampin' Up! Does sell some really cool envelopes that are available, but if you were in a pinch and you want to make this card but you don't have an envelope right away, you can always use like a legal size envelope, right? Like just, you know, your normal legal size envelopes. Not as pretty as Stampin' Up's envelopes, but it will work. So the dimensions for the actual card itself, let me move that up a little bit. Okay, the dimensions for the actual card itself would be 8.5 by 7 inches. And then I'm going to score this. I lied, said I didn't need my paper cutter, but I do. My paper trimmer, I need to just score this. I'm going to score this down the middle. The reason I'm scoring it when I normally don't score things is because of the way I cut the paper. It doesn't naturally want to fold that way. It's going to resist it. So if you don't score it, you're going to end up with kind of cracks in the middle of your card, and you don't want that. So I'm scoring this at 3.5 inches, which will now make this card 8.5 by 3.5. Okay, so that is my the base of my card. All right, now the layer that I'm going to put my words on, I have cut to 3 inches by 8 inches, and I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus. Now the Stamparatus is a tool by Stampin' Up! That is, it's got a lot of different features, okay? So I want to show you how I'm going to use it tonight. Let me see if I can do this and give you a little bit make it a little bit clearer to see. But this is going to allow me to stamp all of my words all the way down the page, and they'll be nice and straight. Knock wood. They'll be nice and straight. Okay, so the Stamparatus comes with a couple of different things. You get these magnets. I've added this painter's tape on here because it's easier. It makes it easier to pick up the magnet. If you put them close together, they will snap together, and then you will have 4 magnets. But there is a place on the back of the Stamparatus to store those. And they stick. Did you see that? I've got some grid paper on here, but the stamp set that I'm using first is my Biggest Wish, and Biggest Wish is a photopolymer stamp set, which means there's no squish factor. I've talked about this before, but stamps always stamp better if there's a layer of foam underneath. So red rubber stamps have that squish factor in them, but photopolymers don't. So because of that, Stampin' Up! Provides you with this, it's kind of like a thick fun foam type thing. And I've just added another piece of fun foam behind it because I did. I like extra squish. Okay, so I'm just putting that underneath so that my image is going to stamp better. And I'm going to figure out where yeah, that's where I wanted to do it. So I'm going to line up right along this grid line here. Can you see that line right there? That's where I'm going to line up. And I have adhered my stamp right over here. So this is on my plate. And then I'm going to just turn my stamp set over so it's a little bit less distracting. But the height of the Stamparatus and the height of this stamp case work well together so that if you put the stamp case underneath it, it makes it easier to ink this up here. All right. Let's get busy. Okay, so I've lined up where I'm going to stamp my image. I'm going to put my magnets on here to hold this still. And I'm going to start with Calypso Coral. And I'm going to ink up my Happy. And then bring it over, give it a good squish. Okay, if you're someone that has arthritis, if you use like a one of our blocks over here and rub it like that, it makes it, gives you a nice image that seems to not make things worse for your arthritis. Okay, the next color I'm going to use is Balmy Blue. So now I have to clean my stamp because my stamp now has Calypso Coral on it. And I'm just going to, I just cut up a chamois into little quarters, so I'm just going to clean that off there. Because it's photopolymer and I've used it with a stamp that had some, ink pad that had some red, it's permanently stained pink. So it's not really pink right now, it is clean, but it's going to look dirty. Okay, and whoops, I forgot what I was doing here. That was close. Okay, so this is Balmy Blue that I'm using, but now I'm going to take this out. This has some hinges in here. I'm going to take it out and move it down 1 hinge, which moves this down 1 inch. And now when I stamp, I've got my Happy right there. I'm gonna re-ink this just to make it a little bit darker. So I'm re-inking it, but not moving where it is in the on the hinge. And it's going to come out a little bit darker. Okay, again, I'm going to clean my stamp. I'm going to move my ink. This time I'm grabbing Petal Pink, which may be wrongly named because it's kind of peach, not pink. Okay, again, I'm going to ink up my Happy. Bring it over. Give it a good squish. Hello. Okay, now I'm going to start moving my magnets around because I'm about to run into them. I'm going to move my hinge down 1 more step here. This is my Old Olive. This is going to appear dark, but in the end, it all looks fine. But I think initially when I first did it, I said, that looks a little dark. That looks a little dark, but that's okay. It's fine. In the end, it's going to fade a little bit. Things dry a little bit lighter. All right, now I'm going to I'm going to go kind of back up these colors. So now I'm going to go back to my Calypso Coral, excuse me, my Petal Pink, and ink that up there. Move my magnet so it doesn't get in the way. Give a good squish. There we go. Move down one more hinge. Now this is the last place I'm going to use the hinge, and then I'm going to alter things just a little. Okay, so now I'm inking up my, did I clean that? There we go. Okay, I'm using my Balmy Blue. And I'll move my magnets out of the way. So let me see if I can zoom in a little bit for you to be able to see. And give a little squish. Okay, now I don't have enough room because this is the bottom of my Stamparatus, and this is a long, thin card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this up about a 1/2 inch. And I know it's about a 1/2 inch because I'm basing it on where, I'm basing it on these grid lines. So I think that this is about right. I'm lining it up again along this side here. And nope, that is not right. Let's try that. Let's move that down there. It's gonna be fine. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Okay, so now I'm going to use my Calypso Coral. Oh, just got my finger in my Calypso Coral. Give Happy a little ink up. Now, when you get to the bottom, you do need to be a little bit more, because of the way the hinges are, you need to be a little bit more careful so that it doesn't kind of slip out of space. But it's fine if you kind of, there's a little bit of give here, so I just kind of push to the top and then stamp it down, and that seems to be fine. All right, there we are. Happy, 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 happy card. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. I'm actually going to take my Happy right off there and put this back here because now I have another Stamparatus trick to share with you. Okay, so the front of the card has all my words all lined up, all straight. I'm pleased with that. Now, another way that you can use your Stamparatus is that you can, where are my parts here? Okay, so what I did, you can use this with your die cutting machine. So I cut out a bunch of this image here, right? This little bunny I thought looked adorably happy. And the really nice thing about him is he doesn't, when you cut him out, he doesn't have this puddle underneath him. So it's not that he's always playing in the rain. He can literally just be happy. So that's the image I wanted to go with because he looks like the happiest of all these creatures. So that's the one that I wanted for my card. So I cut out a bunch of these. If you're using your basic white cardstock, you can actually cut through 2 layers at a time if the image is not too detailed. And this one is not too detailed. That was fine. I was able to cut through 2 at once. So I cut out a bunch of these bunnies, but I didn't stamp them first. Okay, so they're just a bunch of loose, random bunny silhouettes. Okay, the reason I did this is that it takes less time. You don't have to think about anything if you just cut them out and you don't have the image on them. You can always stamp the image first and then cut it out. But this is a really time-saving trick if you have a bunch of things, if you're doing a bunch of things at once, if you're doing holiday cards or a bunch of thank you cards, or let's say you want to get a bunch of your birthday cards done at once, but they're all going to look the same. This is a really good trick for this. Okay, so these are all cut out, ready to go. I cut them out of these right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. This is now my negative, right? So I'm going to take this and put it right on my Stamparatus. Ooh, for this one, good thing I didn't do anything yet. I'm going to get rid of this fun foam layer here because I don't need the squish factor. Because the Playing in the Rain stamp set is red rubber. Can you see that layer of squish right in there? So you don't need that additional thing there. So that's fine. All right. So I was about to tell you this backwards. I'm sorry about that. Okay, I'm just going to take my bunny, stick him on the plate like so. I'm going to take my magnets and just hold down my scrap paper for the moment, right, like that. And then I'm going to take Memento ink because that's what I want to stamp my bunny in. I'm going to ink up my bunny like so and just stamp him wherever he ends up, okay? You do want to keep kind of away from the hinges up here. They don't stamp great if you're right up against the hinge, so he's right in the middle, which is perfect. Okay, so this is where he is on my scrap paper, right? So now I'm going to take my negative, if you will. This is what I cut my bunnies out of. And I'm going to line it right up against my bunny here. Like so. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to take my magnet and hold these down on either side. Okay. Now I'll go back to my bunny cutouts, my blank bunny cutouts, and I'm going to stick it right back inside of my little cutout right there. I will re-ink. Can't see this on camera, but I'm re-inking my bunny over here. And then I'm just going to fold this right down. Whoa, my magnet seems to be in the way there. There we go. Just going to give a good squish here. And I'll show you with my pick a tool that he comes out perfect every time. So now I won't do this on camera, but I'll take my next 7 bunnies that I've cut out there, pop them right in there, and just repeat the same thing. Because now that I have my template set up, now that I know where this belongs, that this is going to stamp right there every time, it's going to be easy for me to mass produce that. Okay, so I'm done with this for the moment. Let me move it out of the way. My bunny, I'm going to use my my blends and just give him a little, clean him up a little bit, do a little bit of stamping with him. I mean, a little bit of stamping, a little bit of coloring with him. That's too close. I'm trying to unzoom. Well, I guess it's not going to unzoom for me, so I'll just do that there. Okay, so my bunny face I'm going to do in my petal pink, but I want to use my light petal pink because I specifically, well, I'll tell you why in just a minute. Okay, so I'm using blends. You could use watercolor watercolor pencils. You could use our pastels. You could use Stampin' Right markers or blends. Or you could actually use the ink from the ink pads. That is also another way you can color it, but I'm choosing to use blends tonight. Okay, in fact, I use blends all the time because they're easy and they don't show any color lines. Like regular markers kind of show little lines when you color. And the beauty of blends is that they don't. Okay, so that is my little bunny there. I'm going to give him some cheeks. This is something that Lindsay Mahan has, she's another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and she is famous for adding cheeks to any kind of animal out there. And I think it's really cute, so I started doing that as well. So I use the light petal pink for the bunny, and I'm going to use the darker petal pink for his cheeks. And because these are blends, it's all going to kind of fade together like true. Can you see how cute those little cheeks are? Oh, that was totally worth it. Okay, let's give his nose. We'll do his nose in some Calypso. And then we'll make his jacket Old Olive. I'm using light Old Olive. So this, I'm not really blending any of this. I'm just actually coloring it in. Other than his cheeks. And if you really want, if that moved you, you certainly could add dimension to this, you could use your light and dark blends to give some shadowing on his jacket. But I'm lazy and I'm not. So there we go. Okay, so there is the bunny, right? Those cheeks were totally worth it. Look at how cute they are. Okay, now, there we go. All right, let's get the blends out of the way. The card is nearly done. Okay, let's add a layer behind this. So I'm going to add old olive paper behind this to pick up the old olive that's here. And I'm going to use green glue, my favorite adhesive of all time. Run that right down like so. I will pull in my card base, which is my Calypso Coral. You could put dimensionals on this at this point if you wanted, but I'm not. I'm going to put dimensionals on my bunny and pop him up. Okay, so let's grab a bunch of dimensionals. I'm going to use a combination of the little ones and the big ones because I think the little ones are going to fit better behind his ears, and I really want everything to be popped up on him because he's super happy. Dimensionals are cheap. By cheap, I mean inexpensive. They work great, but they're inexpensive. So don't hesitate to use them often. And they don't cost you any more to mail anything, so because that squishes right through that mailing machine. So they won't cost you any more if you use dimensionals, and yet it'll make everybody happy. All right, if anything had gone poorly on here, you'd want to cover it up. You could put your bunny wherever you want, but I'm going to put him right over here. And I like it when he kind of pops off the page like that. See how he kind of goes out of the border like that? I kind of like that look, so that's fine. Okay, the inside of the card. Now you have to do the inside of the card. I previously stamped this little adorable turtle who comes with the stamp set, right? He is this guy right here. So I previously stamped and colored him in. And now I'm just going to add the word birthday. And I'm going to use the green that we had here, the old olive that we used here. So I'm just going to pull that in and stamp that right on the inside. There's a couple different fonts that come with this. So there's this birthday that would need to be straight, and this birthday that is more forgiving. So that's the one I'm going with. And I often like to combine the two. I think has just a fun kind of casual look to it, and I really like that. All right, so there is the birthday. So happy, 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 happy birthday is what this card's going to look like. You could write your little message up here. Let's pop this on the inside of the card. Like so. And then on the front of the card, just to add a little bit more, although you wouldn't have to really, but to add a little bit more, I'm going to use the Iridescent Pastel Gems, still available in the catalog. These are Calypso, Balmy Blue, and I don't know. I'm going to go with Petal Pink because that's the color I'm using here. I'm going to use my pick a tool and pick off some pieces here. And to kind of highlight the bunny, I'm going to put these sort of right around him. Oh, yikes! I got some, did you see this? There's some ink down there. Guess what? That's exactly where that's going to go. Boom. Gonna forget about that. Okay. All right, so there we go. A Slimline card made with the biggest wish, which I can't say for sure. We'll know tomorrow. I'm not sure it's going to make it into another catalog, but you still have an opportunity to get it immediately, right now. Along with Playing in the Rain. I don't know if that will be in the catalog again, but right now Playing in the Rain is available in all of its in all the ways you can get it. So you can get it individually as a stamp set, you can get the bundle, which also includes the framelits, or you can get the whole collection that includes everything. So these were kind of the big things that I wanted to feature tonight, as well as the Stamparatus. So there's a lot of different ways to use this. I've shown you a couple different ways tonight. If you're someone that has some issues where you really want things lined up straight, this is for you. If you're someone that likes things super, super dark, you can repeat the stamped image several times so you can get things super, super dark. If you're someone that wants things lined up straight and wants things super dark, this is for you. So those are kind of the things that I wanted to highlight for you tonight. If there's anything that you saw here tonight that you want, and I am your demonstrator, I'd be happy to get them for you. Just get in touch with me or go to my website, bettyboop.stampinup.net. If you have a different demonstrator, get in touch with him or her, and I'm sure that they will take care of you as well. Okay, so let me flip you around. Let's see. Okay. All right, perfect. So that is it for this evening. I hope that you enjoyed this card. I agree, Francine. I think it is an adorable stamp set. I really like. I'm not always one that gravitates towards cute little creatures, but they are awfully cute. And I think you're going to find a lot of use for them. And like I said, the bunny he can have a puddle under him, so it can be kind of a rainy day type of card, but he doesn't have to have that puddle, so he can be used for nearly anything. All right, so that is it. If you have any questions, please get in touch with me. I'd be more than happy to help you out. If there is, like I said, go to my website if there's anything that you saw that you need here tonight, or go to the website of your demonstrator, and they certainly will take care of you. Tomorrow, on the 29th, is when our last chance list comes out. Be sure, if you're a customer of mine, you will receive an email by midnight tomorrow. I have a couple classes going on, so I will get it in there at some point. But you will have an email telling you the things that are going away. If there's anything on that list that you want, depending on how strongly you feel about it, you want to order it sooner rather than later. Things will be on sale starting next week, or some things will be on sale starting next week, but there's no guarantee that those things will last until next week. So I just want to give you a heads up, give you a fair warning about that. If there are any colors that are going away that you feel strongly about, I would advise you to act quickly to get as much paper or ink refills or whatever it might be that you need in that color. Act quickly to get it before it sells out, because they likely will sell out. All right, that is it. That is it. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it, and I will see you next Tuesday, which will already be April 4th. April 4th. I will see you again on April 4th. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Bye.